Alright, welcome to Module 2, the 10-hour wholesaler way. Identify, build, and outsource. I am your fearless leader, once again, Justin Wilmot. And in this module, we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of this system. And you're going to discover what is a 10-hour wholesaler, the 10-hour wholesaler way, step by step, exactly how we do this. How to identify your first target market. Building your pipeline, the two key players that you must have. Your outsourced team, my top VA resources, and a lot more. So let's get ready here. And of course, our disclaimer, we are not attorneys, so don't take any of this as legal advice. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, let's get into it. Your three-step process to flipping properties nationwide, working less than 10 hours a week, which is what this is all about. It's going to be a three-step process. Step 1 is to identify. Step 2 is to build your team. And step 3 is to outsource this. Now, before we get into the simple three-step process, let's go over what a 10-hour wholesaler is. Now, 10-hour wholesaling, we are professional delegators. We set our focus and guide our team clearly. We're like the instructor of a symphony. We know exactly what we're going to do, and we delegate the tasks to the key players. We are resourceful, and we use leverage. We recruit qualified team members on a commission basis, and we love to keep it simple. That is what we're all about here. We establish one market, start crushing it, and then we move on to the next. You can scale as large as you want. This is the absolute easiest and fastest way to profit in this game that we're calling real estate investing. It's fun, it's profitable, and it requires the absolute least amount of time than any other form of real estate investing out there. You can control just how busy you want to be. Right now, we're 10-hour wholesaler system team, and we're in 18 markets. You can be in 40. You can be in 5. It's completely up to you. Playing the real estate matchmaker is exactly what we're doing here. We match our cash buyers with our wholesalers' properties. A relationship builder is what we're all about. That's why it's very important, once again, to read the book How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, because the principles in that book will help you build these relationships. In exchange, we collect a marketing fee, and that's typically half of the profit spread. So, we're not buying, or are we not selling the property? We're not closing on the property, and we're not working with listed properties whatsoever. These are private owner properties. We're not physically meeting with the sellers, pretty much never ever. And we're not physically meeting with the buyers, again, never ever. We work for our buyers, though. So our buyers are our meat and potatoes in this course. Our buyers are our alpha and our omega. It's all about building the rapport with them. No need to have experience, because with your co-wholesaler relations, you have access to properties unknown to your buyers. Market conditions, market numbers, all the details that you typically need to know about in order to be an investor in a virtual market. All those details are going to be handled for you because you're partnering with the wholesaler that already did all the work for you. We're going to get deeper into this later, but don't start worrying at all about knowing other markets, and you'll see this clearly later on. So here's an example of what this looks like. You get on a wholesaler's buyers list. Send their inventory to your buyers. Mediate the deal between you, your buyers, and the wholesaler. Get on the HUD and get paid. It really is that simple. 5 steps, 5 principles. The details are in between, and we're going to show you exactly how to do that right now. So step 1, identify. Alright, identifying your target market. Are some real estate markets better for 10-hour wholesaling than others, and why? Well, the answer is absolutely yes. So we want to go where all the cash transactions are taking place. There's about 100 markets across the country where that's happening. That is where you want to be. Now, top 10-hour wholesaler markets are going to be starting off with what is closest to you. Then we're going to look into overflow markets. The value of local knowledge is important, but it's not necessary, and I'll show you why. Top 10-hour wholesaler markets. Now, we want hot rental markets where there's high ROIs for landlords. We want active network of wholesalers. So when we do a Google search, we want to see that there are a lot of other wholesalers in that market. We want large number of all cash transactions. So markets with high volume of cash transactions. In order to find these, it's very, very simple because it's completely public and there are numerous publications everywhere, newspapers, blogs that are constantly publicizing the top markets in the country, including sites like Zillow, RealtyTrack, RealQuest, all those top guys. So Google top real estate investment markets. Now these are not the only markets, but it's going to be a great start. Also, you have overflow markets. An overflow market are markets bordering major metropolitan areas. These are your next best choice. So, an example would be Orlando, Florida. If it's a focus market, an overflow market would include DeLand, Deltona, and Kissimmee, Florida. These cities get direct commerce and direct overflow from the major metropolitan downtown Orlando area. There are huge opportunities in these neighboring cities that receive the benefits of the major downtown commerce. And the reason being is that there are newer wholesalers in these markets. They're not saturated with other wholesalers, and there's great opportunity in working with new wholesalers. Again, we're going to get into the details of that just a little later. Now, here's a picture or a map of our downtown Orlando, the big red dot in the middle. Now, when you see something like this, one of the first things you should notice is the little UCF sign in the top right-hand corner. Colleges automatically bring with them great rental areas. Where there's a lot of college students, there's a lot of housing needed. Where there's a lot of needed housing, there's a lot of landlords. And where there's a lot of landlords, there's typically some good wholesalers. You want to befriend that wholesaler, get their list of inventory, and start working with them. Now, you also have areas like Altamont Springs, Castleberry, Winter Park. These are bordering cities outside of Orlando that are getting direct commerce from Orlando. And on the bottom you can see Kissimmee and St. Cloud. Now I personally know about these because I've worked all these markets for years. And the little secret ninja tip about these overflow markets are there are a small amount of wholesalers doing a large amount of properties. These are the wholesalers that you want to align yourself with. Alright, local knowledge. Now, you don't need local knowledge, but in the beginning, it completely could help benefit you. Now, where do you have roots? Meaning, where do you have friends and business associates? Have you lived in one of the top or overflow markets before? So in the results that you get looking for the top markets in the nation, almost all results will end up with the exact same cities. Have you lived in one of those before? Do you have friends in one of those markets? Do you have business associates in one of those markets? Do you have family in one of those markets? If the answer is yes, and you're familiar with one of those areas, I do suggest that you start off in one of those markets. So, an ideal first target market would be one of the top markets in the country, or overflow markets, plus you have local knowledge of the area. Once again, it just helps get your feet wet. Once you set up the system in that market with confidence, you'll be able to easily move on to the next. Alright, now that you know how to identify your 10-hour wholesaler market, it's time for building your team. So here we go. the two key players, cash buyers and wholesalers. You guys mind if I just stop and stare at that sick barrel for a minute? Alright, never mind. Let's get back to work. Alright, cash buyers. Your ideal buyer is actually what I call the retail investor buyer. Okay, this retail investor buyer has cash and he can close fast. He's not the big fix and flip guy in your area. And he's not the seasoned investor. So again, your ideal buyer is a fresh, new buyer. Regular people who want to put their money to work and invest in real estate. Now these people hit the market every single day, all across the country. This is a fact. Now a lot of these times, these retail cash buyers are professionals just entering the real estate biz. A lot of times they're entrepreneurs and business owners. They're doctors. They're executives. They're CEOs of companies. They have trust funds or insurance settlements, retirees, and small mom and pop investors. That's a key. The small mom and pop investors are awesome cash buyer clients to work with. Now, why is this? Why are we looking for these types of people? Because they are primed for you to introduce off-market deals that they have no knowledge of whatsoever. They pay the highest prices. They haggle much, much less than your seasoned investor, especially than your fix and flip guy. Trust me. And best of all, they don't typically have other wholesalers' properties on their radar. This is the perfect candidate. Now, what is the value that you're bringing to these buyers? Well, you're a professional. Once you have read all this, gone through this content in our training, you know more than 90% of the other beginning investor wholesalers out there. Your partners, which are your co-wholesalers, have dumped huge amounts of resources to provide them exclusive off-the-market deals. You are your buyer's gatekeeper to reaching their financial goals and getting them access to these deals. You only present deals that match or need their goals. Most people have no idea how to find an actual good deal. This is a huge value add. You're bringing them deals on a silver platter, and much more costly to go at it alone. In most cases, all those people that we just spoke about, when they want to get into the real estate business, what's the first thing they're going to do? They're going to go to the MLS. Well, those days are over for them. You're getting them access to the deeply discounted wholesale properties that are not on the MLS. They would never know about these properties without you. And this is mutually beneficial long-term relationship. You are their go-to guy or gal. You bring them deals, you save them time, and you make them money. They will be loyal clients forever. Trust me. Now, building your buyer's list. So, there's two simple strategies to build your list, and then we'll talk about a few more after these simple, cheap strategies. The first one are bandit signs. I'm sure you've seen them before. The other method that's free and simple are Craigslist ads. Now, quickly, we'll talk about bandit signs. Now, no matter how ugly or annoying they work very well when drumming up buyer leads. Here's the thing. They're against city ordinance in most municipalities across the country. So you're going to need to check with the city, and you're going to need to weigh the risk versus the reward. Now, I'll tell you right now, we still do them all the time, and we've been slapped on the wrist plenty of times. But it's worth it. Now, homemade versus printed signs. We 100% prefer the homemade look rather than professionally printed signs. These are much more effective when drumming up cash buyer leads. You'll see in a moment when you type this print on a bandit sign and you leave it on a light post or stake it in the ground, it's going to look like you're an authentically distressed seller looking to sell your house for cheap. If there's one of those people that we just mentioned driving around that neighborhood thinking of a good deal and having a tough time getting that good deal in the MLS, and then they see your sign, guess what? Magic will happen. They'll call. It's really not that complicated. Now, how to deploy these in your target market is pretty simple. Post an ad on Craigslist under the brief tasks jobs and get somebody and pay them to post each sign up. Each sign they should take a picture of. When the job is done, you pay them. Alright, here's an example of what a bandit sign will look like. This is the literature that we use, and we don't mess with it much because it's very effective. Cheap, handyman special. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, only $65,000. Must sell now. Cash only. Call. Blank, 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 now. When we do this, we use a Google Voice number. You can get a free Google Voice number at google.com/voice. The reason you need to use a Google number is for 2 reasons. 1, you can get a local area code, very important. And second, even more important, they're untraceable. So when municipalities call and they leave a voicemail telling you to take your sign down, simply just obey, take the signs away, and that's it. Leave it at that. Alright, Craigslist ads. So in Craigslist we do the same type of thing. Handyman special, 3-bedroom, 2-bath for X. Must sell. It's what's called a phantom listing. If you don't have this property yet, you will soon. But trust me, for now, put the ad up. Include pics. Include your email, and include the Google Voice number. Alright, in Craigslist, where you want to post these ads is under the real estate for sale by owner section. And of course, you want to do it in the city target market of your choice. Here are more strategies to build your buyers list. Now this is a great strategy. Call or email your local real estate management companies or the local real estate management companies in your target market and ask for a list of available rentals. Once you get that list of rentals, either you or your VA, which we'll get into later, will do for you a reverse lookup to find the owner's mailing address and phone number. A free source to do this, to do reverse lookups, is whitepages.com. And an excellent paid source is Intellius.com. It's around $30 a month. Now, my absolute favorite strategy, and the strategy that I recommend for everybody to do immediately in order to get these buyers and to build your buyers list in your first target market and in every market thereafter, is to do this. Buy access to a data system that can pump out buyer lists for you all over the country. If you don't have the budget, beg, borrow, and steal to get it, because these lists and these systems are going to give you the resources that this is all about. You need these cash buyers. Definitely do the other methods because they work very well, and they're going to give you buyers that are not going to be on this source. But do this. Alright, so the first one is FreedomSoft. You may or may not have heard of it. You can do it. Try it for free at privatemoneyblueprint.com/try it free. FreedomSoft has an excellent source for pulling up cash buyers in almost every single market in the country. Your second option is findcashbuyersnow.com. Does the same thing. Prices are different, but it pulls up cash buyers in every single part of the country. Both provide excellent sources. So now, once you get these lists of cash buyers, you're going to send them what's called the buyer letter. And the buyer letter template is provided for you in your download and resources section of your members area. Now, this ninja letter I gave to you to swipe and deploy. It has taken us literally years and thousands of dollars to perfect. But the wording in there is done purposefully, and it gets the highest response rate that I and anybody else that's ever used my letter, the highest response they've ever gotten in their lives. So, in your mailing, in order to mail these, here's how you do it exactly. Get yourself a white envelope, invitation style. Now, these are going to be handwritten envelopes, and they're going to be in red ink. So you're going to dress it. Then you're going to use what's called a live stamp, which just means a standard stamp that you get from the post office. No bulk stamps. The open rate by doing this is 4 times higher than any other method that exists today in direct mail campaigns. The reason is the invitational style with red ink with a live red stamp completely takes away any type of commercial look. In many cases, it's going to look like you took the time to deliberately approach this person. The open rate, again, it's higher than anything else that exists. So that, in conjunction with our letter, will get you phenomenal response rate. Now, when these people call, please do everything you can to build the best rapport that you possibly can with them. Because let me ask you, when is the last time that you received something in the mail and then you opened up the letter and actually called the number back? Yes, it's probably been a long time, if ever. So, when you do get this call, recognize that this is an extremely motivated buyer. He wants what you're offering, which are properties, because he has goals in life, and his goals are going to be achieved through real estate, and you're going to help him do it. So the level of motivation from his call is extremely important. Treat every single call like gold. When approaching your buyers, with all that said, you do absolutely need to keep the "they're lucky to work with you" vibe and mentality versus the kiss ass, "hey, this is a great deal, I have great deals, come buy them now." Now, nobody likes that. You need to be the established professional real estate wholesale provider. And by begging for their business, that is not going to get you there. Don't approach buyers like that. Don't be overly cocky, but be firm, direct, and knowledgeable. Make it clear that you are bringing a great value to the table, and do not do business with just everyone. It's a privilege to do business with you, and they need to know that. Now, in order for them to believe that, you need to believe that. Trust me, the value that you're bringing to the table here is extremely, extremely high. You are bringing them properties that they will never have gotten without you. These guys have goals that they have in life, and they've decided that real estate, flipping properties or buying properties for ROI, is the way that they're going to reach their goals. You are that person that's going to help them do that. Know that and believe that deeply. It is very, very important. You just believing that will come off in your conversation, and the words won't have to be said. They'll just know. I always like to let my buyers know this, and these are words that we do say. I already have other buyers looking for similar properties that you are. When I bring you a deal that you want, you'll be expected to perform and close. If not, I'll have to take you off of our list. Does that sound fair? Now, you are completely setting the tone when you do this. You should have no exceptions and keep your integrity. Don't get pulled around by rose-picking buyers. Starting off a conversation or ending a conversation like this demands respect, and it demands commitment. Both extremely important. Now, question-based selling. So here's a little bit about what question-based selling is. You ask questions about the experience that they have, their real estate strategy, and the niche that they're in. Now, what are their goals? Why are they investing in real estate? Ask them that. Create an Excel spreadsheet for each 10-hour wholesaler market for buyers, lists, and info you gather. Create an Excel spreadsheet for each 10-hour wholesaler market. So if you, let's say, for an example, moved into the Houston market and you started reaching out to cash buyers and you're getting your cash buyer calls and building the leads, you need to have a very simple Excel spreadsheet that's titled Houston Cash Buyers. The name, the number, the phone, the email, and then, very important, a comment section that details out everything that they want within a property. Ask them, how long have you been investing? What is your primary investing strategy? What type of properties? Single family, multifamily, long-term, short-term? How many properties are you looking to buy this year? How about the location? Exactly. How about the size? Exactly. And what is your most preferred price range? What hood and what zip do you like best? The goal here is for them to paint the picture for you of literally their ideal investment property that they would buy time and time again. Now, I don't recommend starting with these questions until you have already tried to build rapport. Building rapport is just simply being friendly on a personal level in the beginning. When that starts to get old and the cash buyer's going, okay, let's talk about what we're calling to talk about, then come into the questions, but not until then. Ask them, are you interested in rehabs? And if so, do you already have a contractor or would you like mine? Now don't worry, if you don't have one in that market, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that later on. But offering that is a great gesture and it builds credibility. How much in repairs are you comfortable with? Are you working with any banks, hard money lenders, private money, or using your own cash? You're looking for the words, I use my own cash or I use private money. Hard money is okay, but it's third on the list. What are your ultimate goals in real estate? Listen the whole time. Listen, listen, listen. Then ask, where do you want to end up? Alright, and lastly, with question-based selling, you need to end your conversation with this. I have a handful of other buyers I work with, so if I send you a property that fits everything that you've said here, and you agree to take the deal, are you prepared and committed to pulling the trigger and closing on time? It's very important to end with this. Reason being, you're showing that you're serious. You're showing that you already have buyers that want what he wants. This is much more effective than the other way, which is the kiss ass, I have this, check this out, look, buy from me now. Trust me, that's old school way of selling. It doesn't work anymore. This is how you do it. Make sure that you're following up with your buyers. Now, in order to do this, I really highly recommend GetResponse.com as your email service provider. It has all the functions, templates, and autoresponders that you'll ever need. More importantly, when you use an email service provider, it automatically is what's called BCCs them. What that means is that when you send out a bulk email to your list in that market, they will not see each other's email address. That is extremely important. Now, even if you're even just small, minutely savvy with your email, regular email account, Gmail or Yahoo, and you're completely familiar with using the BCC method, which is the blind carbon copy, trust me, most people, if you haven't already, and I have myself multiple times, will accidentally send your entire list an email without using the BCC. In some cases, you can lose a hard-earned cash buyer. You're spending a lot of time and putting a lot of effort into building these relationships. Don't mess it up by sending a bulk email and pissing them off as now that their email has been exposed to your entire list. Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes it's a big deal. So in order to avoid it, use an email provider. such as GetResponse. It's free for 30 days, and after that it's under 20 bucks a month. Remember guys, buyers are your primary focus here. You're the big badass on the block with all of the buyer connects. So all of your efforts and focus is going to go into building the buyers in your target market. Everyone goes where the money is, and that's going to be you. When you have a powerful buyers list, you represent power. Insanely, things will just seem to happen. On to the number 2 key player of building your pipeline, and that is wholesalers. Alright, building your co-wholesaler list. Who is ideal? Well, there are 2 types of wholesalers in this world, and number 1 is the seasoned pro. The seasoned pro is doing 3+ deals a month. Sometimes they're doing up to 20 deals a month. Number 2 is the hard-working newbie. They're doing absolutely no deals to 2 deals a month. Now, we want both of these in all markets that you enter, but depending on the market, one will be more valuable than the other. Let me explain. The pro has dependable inventory. He becomes very valuable in smaller markets, particularly in what we spoke about earlier, in the overflow markets where there are less amount of wholesalers and less amount of deals. The newbie has fresh inventory, and he needs you and he needs your buyers. The newbie is ideal in who you want to target in the markets that are saturated with other wholesalers and saturated with cash buyers. An example would be Tampa, Florida, Miami, Florida, Atlanta, Georgia, St. Louis, possibly Memphis, Maricopa County, Arizona. These are heavy buyers with lots and lots of wholesalers. But when you meet up and recruit a newbie, they get you fresh inventory. They use their resources, and they need you and your buyers. It's literally a match made in heaven. Now let's move on. To instantly find co-wholesalers, Google sell house fast subject county. So let's use Houston, Texas as an example. Google sell house fast Houston. The results from the search will be fellow wholesalers and investors. Reason being is that fellow wholesalers and investors are constantly marketing for motivated seller leads. Motivated sellers are typing in keywords, sell my house fast and X. Now, organic results versus paid spots. The organic results are not going to be your primary search. You want to look at the organic results. Visit each site and find contact information. Once you do, you want to email them and call them. You're going to provide them the script that we provided you. Make sure you build a solid relationship with these co-wholesalers. You're going to be doing a lot of work with these guys. Let them know that you have a very large, active, hungry cash buyers list. Here's an example of what it's going to look like when you type in sell my house fast Houston. The top 3 that you may not be able to see in this screenshot, but they're highlighted in pink in the background. You want all the organic searches, but if you click on one of these guys, these are all fellow wholesalers. Build rapport and build value with these guys. Alright, my Craigslist search method. This is a great little ninja way to find additional co-wholesalers. And what you do is go into your target market in Craigslist and you search keyword wholesalers typically use, which will be ARV, which means after repair value. Search both of those. The abbreviation of ARV, also search after repair value. Also do plug in keywords cash only. Also, try keywords hard money. There's going to be a little search icon on the top right hand corner when you're in the real estate buy owner section. That is where you're going to want to type in these search terms. What is absolutely great about this method is it's one of the best ways to find fresh new wholesaler leads. Those are the wholesaler leads that you really want in very saturated markets. Other sources that you can go to besides Craigslist are Backpage.com and Kijiji.com. Another great source for coal wholesalers and to build your coal wholesaler list is to search your local RIA. That's your local Real Estate Investors Association. You need to become a part of these guys immediately if you're not already. I don't care if you're a newbie or a seasoned pro. Even a seasoned pro can pull off a couple more deals a month by networking with the people in the local RIA. Get their vendors list. Now, their vendors list is going to have a list of everybody that is a part of their association. RIAs are great sources for recruiting and educating new wholesalers. Typically, newer wholesalers go to these real estate meetings. When you go to one of these meetings and you meet up with a fellow new wholesaler, if it's your local market, of course, this is a great person to recruit, to educate them, show them the Yellow Letter Method campaign from Module 1, and get them going out there for you and marketing for motivated sellers. Let them use their time and their resources and bring you the deal. Once they bring you the deal, you can bring in the cash buyer, and you guys can split the profits 50-50. Here's where this becomes very profitable. When you have 1, 2, 3, or 10 of these guys in each market doing this for you, the deals are practically infinite. Now, do the same thing with your coal wholesalers list as you did with your cash buyers list. For each market, once again, we'll use Houston as an example. Make sure you title it Coal Wholesaler List, Houston, Texas. You should then have the name and the entity name, the phone, the email, and the comments of what the coal wholesaler is all about. Whether or not they like to do 50-50 profit splits, or whether or not they want the properties marked up. We'll get into that a little bit later. Make sure you send coal wholesalers what's called the coal wholesaler template. Again, we provided this for you in the form and resources download section. Once the coal wholesaler replies, this is your general response to that wholesaler. Great. If they end up wanting one of your deals, I'll send over our simple one-page marketing agreement just so I know ahead of time, will I need to mark the property up for a fee or just do a profit split? Have a good one. I look forward to doing some business together soon. Now, the reason we say this is it sets the tone for the relationship that you're attempting to set up with them. Alright, your co-wholesalers. Now, here's some details, some things you need to know about your co-wholesalers, just in case you need some clarification. They are principal in the deal, and they are the seller of these properties. Typically, they have not closed yet with the original seller. They will be doing a simultaneous closing with the original seller of the property. Upon closing is when you get paid. They are direct with seller, and there's no daisy chains, meaning your goal is not to work with wholesalers that are working with other wholesalers. Your goal is to work directly with the listing or the selling, what we call the selling wholesaler. You want to clarify the compensation, and you want to be agreed upon to do 50-50 profit splits. This is the way it is typically done. If the property is under contract for 50, you bring in a buyer and it stands to make $10,000 because your buyer is going to pay 60, you want to split that profit 50-50. That's $5,000 per person. It's very important when entering all relationships with the wholesaler and with your buyer that you disclose that you are not acting as a broker or agent in any of this process. So here's the coal wholesaling process. You're going to pass a coal wholesaler's deal by one of your buyers. You're going to do this by, once you receive their email, you're going to copy, paste, and edit their email into your email account. Like we spoke about earlier, preferably getresponse.com. You're going to want to make sure all of their hyperlinks and all of their contact information is taken out, but all of your information has been inserted. You can even use the same formatting. Make sure there's pictures and details of the property. Again, take out all of their contact info and just have your contact information. Once you have an interested buyer, the coal wholesaler will then sign the marketing agreement. The coal wholesaler shows the property to your buyers. but you must get the agreement signed before this. Close the deal with their closing agency, and then they put you on the HUD. That is how the process looks. You get the co-wholesaler's deal, you send it to your cash buyer. When you get interest in that property from your buyer, you make sure you get that marketing agreement signed. This way, it'll help protect you from them going around you and taking your buyer. You then close the deal with their closing agency. In most cases, the co-wholesaler will take care of all of this for you. In most cases, your job's nearly done. You just wait for your fee. Very, very important. Make sure that you get put on the HUD and that you see the HUD 24 hours prior to closing. You want to make sure that your marketing agreement has been turned in to the closing agency. Alright, and for step 3 of the process, outsource. Now, your outsourced team. By the way, before I go into anything, did anybody know that there was an I in the a-hole of team? Very important to know. Alright, so operations managers, number 1. Number 2 on your outsourced team is virtual assistants. Number 3 would be closing attorneys and title companies. Number 4 would be bookkeepers. And then you have local scouts on the bottom of the list. So let's talk about finding your operations manager. Now, they need to be a rock star, and don't settle until you know that you got a good one. Preferably, he has sales or real estate experience. Your operations manager needs to be excited to be paid upon their performance, commission-based. And here, shortly, I'm going to show you exactly how to attract people that are excited to be paid commission-based. You're going to post an ad on Craigslist, local newspapers, and on online job search engines. And you're going to do it as follows. Headline reads, locally based nationwide real estate investment business seeking sharp-minded salesperson to add to their team. The body looks like this. We're looking for a responsible person with sales experience to become a member of our fast-growing nationwide real estate investing business. Responsibilities include receiving inbound sales calls, making outbound calls, screening buyers and seller leads daily, running comparable sales, coordination with closing attorneys and closing companies, data entry into Excels, manage direct mail campaigns. We need you to be reliable and responsible, great attention to detail, phenomenal work ethics, excited for the opportunity for commission performance-based pay compensation. Put that in bold at the end. Right off the bat, you are trying to filter out the junk inquiries. The goal is to receive as minimum amount of inquiries as possible that are completely aware that this is commission performance-based pay. Very, very important. If you do not have that in there, you will get absolutely flooded with inquiries. You don't want random inquiries. You want to filter them as much as possible. So make the ad as direct. You can make it more direct than this, but make it as direct as possible. It's going to look something like this. This is how it looks when you post it on Craigslist. Now this one ad will get you an insane amount of leads. This is an example of one that we posted in Tallahassee, Florida, and it goes under the real estate jobs section. Now, in finding your operations manager, you're going to let them know that the structure of the compensation starts off at around 10% profit share of whatever comes into the business. If you have a good operations manager, meaning somebody that has experience and they are confident in their abilities, confident in their admin capabilities, and in their sales capabilities on the phone, then they should be excited for the opportunity to start off at a 10% profit share with the possibility to make their way up to a 20% profit share. Now, just so you get an idea of what this looks like, if you're doing, let's just say, 5 deals a month at an average of $5,000 per deal, he's getting 10% of that $25,000 a month. That's way better pay than a lot of people would make on salary. So you want somebody that gets excited about that. Your agreement with your operations manager, once you've done everything and you've gone through the interview process and you get them started, you need to make sure that you write out and get it signed what they're responsible for. Don't skip this method. I don't care if it's only 1 page long and you just write it up on Word. Write out what they're going to be responsible for and make them sign the bottom of it. Very, very important. Now, how I optimize my operations manager. Here's my secret 1-2 punch so that we can handle 18 markets in the country with a very, very small staff. What you do is you keep your local operations manager in charge of tasks on the list provided in the members panel. Once they are dialed in, he or she should be allowed to outsource and communicate with your virtual assistant for the mundane list building activities. Now remember, you're going to want a rock star of our operations manager, but you're also going to want a rock star virtual assistant. And we're going to get into that next. Now, just so you're clear, your operations manager is local to you. They're in your office or come to your home. You do not need operational managers anywhere across the country or in the markets that you're going in. You do not need you do not need an operations manager for every market. Your operations manager is one rock star that is with you, where you guys meet up at least 3 times a week. Now, virtual assistants. You're going to need to build a relationship with top-rated VAs or top-rated companies that have virtual assistants used to the real estate business, because experiencing real estate assistants is extremely helpful. You want to get rid of the learning curve and you want to take the path of least resistance. There's no reason to work with people that don't have experience in doing the tasks that you're going to be asking them to do. There are more than enough people out there. There are specific sites and ways of finding VAs with real estate experience. I focus on VAs from Thailand and the Philippines. The minimum wage in the Philippines is about 75 cents per hour. Most speak excellent English and they have great attitudes. So interview as many of them as possible. Trust me, it is worth your time. So my top VA resources are, number 1, if you're going to go at it alone, would be www.fiverr.com. Now, this is a phenomenal source for your phone operations. It's www.patlive.com. If you're busy or if you're not a person that's great on the phone, you can outsource this to patlive.com, of course, for a fee. They are very, very effective, and they give you great credibility as to you now have somebody that seems in-house taking phone calls for you. It's very effective when we use them. Now, www.yourvas.com. I have not personally used them, but partners and students have, and they have great results. Yourvas.com is another one of those companies that is managed by Americans and has real estate experience. Again, if you want to go at it alone, you can go to elance.com or odesk.com. Both great choices. We really like Odesk. Now, here is another company that has real estate experience and managed by an American team, and they're based out of the Philippines. It's a very large outsourced company. It's called www.123employee.com. Now, another great source for help are interns. And to find some great interns from local colleges that can come to your office or home to help collaborate with you and build this real estate business with you for college credits will be college.monster.com/education. Another one is indeed.com. Hiring VAs on Fiverr. So if you're going to use my favorite site for outsourcing single tasks, then this is how you work with Fiverr. There's a large amount of sellers to choose from. And sellers are actually people that are offering what's called a gig. So go to the search tab on the home page of www.fiverr.com, and once in the search tab, type in virtual assistant. Once you get the results, you want to search in order of top rated sellers. There'll be a tab. Make sure you click on top rated sellers. This is where all the feedback and obviously the top rated virtual assistants will be. There's no need to experiment with people that don't have phenomenal feedback. Save time, take the path of least resistance. Now, in order to do this, again, just set up your Fiverr account, click on Shopping tab, then click on Request Gig, insert Seeking Reliable, Dependable VA for Real Estate Business Long Term. Now, this is a way to set up the ad so that people reach out to you. Very, very effective way. This is what it looks like on Fiverr when you do a request gig. On the top right hand corner, you can see the search activities. You're going to want to click on that first top tab, My Shopping. Then you're going to want to click on Request a Gig. When you click on that Request a Gig button, you'll be able to type in the previous temp. Script for VA responses to your ad. So when somebody does respond, this is your response to them. Thank you for responding. We are reviewing a ton of responses at the moment, and we will be making a decision in the next couple of days. Please provide us some references if you have worked with any clients in the real estate business before. Can you perform requested work on a routine basis, dependably, and provide us a screenshot of each completed task? Also, let me know your billing rate. Thank you very much. This is an important response to send whenever going at it alone trying to work with VAs on Fiverr. Now, working with VAs on Fiverr is extremely cost effective, but you're going to be managing them on your own. So make sure you're extremely clear on everything that you want. Use that outsourced template that we provided you, listing everything that they need to do. But just to make sure that when you ask for a task to be done, that you are as detailed as possible. Envision that you're speaking to a 3 or 5-year-old. The clearer, the better. Sometimes poor results are a direct reflection on poor instructions. So please make sure you're very clear. If you do this, if you're clear and you're working with top-rated assistants, you're going to have no problems at all. And you're going to watch this business grow exponentially, more than you could have ever imagined going at it alone. And as a side note, for every deal that you do, I highly request that you take 15% of that money earned and put it all back into your business. That would be your cash buyer lists and right back into your virtual assistants. Your virtual assistants you need to put it into because they're not commission based, but your operations manager is commission based. Here's some more tips for working with VAs. Test VAs by their responsiveness. That's a great indication of their availabilities. The ones who respond the fastest typically stay at the top of our list. An ideal response time for us is 20 minutes or less. Provide a VA with the task list and provide it in this program. Now, when using Fiverr, you can also set up your PayPal account, so it's just a couple clicks of a button to pay somebody once they have completed the work. Now, here's an option that I noticed on Fiverr. If you are on an extremely tight budget and you're considering not hiring a VA, that could be the kiss of death. Do not do that. Do yourself a favor and use somebody to help you do this business. You don't need to do it right away. You can start and go at it alone, but make sure that you at least push yourself and attempt to try to use a virtual assistant. If you don't have any money in the beginning, your PayPal account will have what's called a Bill Me Later option. Look into that. Finding your closing attorney or title company. Now, do not settle on this. It's very important. We would not recommend settling for anybody but the very best in your market. You need to find the closing attorney that all of the other wholesalers in your current market are working with. Now, this is assuming you don't already have a real estate attorney, but you should have one on your side, and you should be putting deals through this attorney, keeping him what I call greased. And it's easy to do this. You just find out which closing attorney is already working with other wholesalers in your market. Whoever that guy is, that's your guy. Period. Do not waste time asking others and finding somebody else. All you're going to do is end up trying to either educate them or get big fat no's telling you that you need to be a broker or an agent to do this. That's just not the case. You need to speak with an attorney that has experience in wholesaling real estate. Finding your closing attorney, again, visit your target market RIA club. This is the best way to find somebody. My secret sauce has always been having a rockstar investor savvy closing attorney on our side. They work and represent me in my hometown. We put even a majority of our coal wholesale deals through this attorney so that we keep him paid and can use him for any other resources and any other things that we may need further down the line. It's just a smart way to do business. Your attorney needs to understand creative real estate investing and simultaneous closings. It's a must. If you mention the word simultaneous closings, double closings, wholesaling, and they look at you like you have 10 eyes, again, do not spend the time trying to educate them. Thank them for their time kindly and move on to the next person. Do not let people that don't understand the wholesale business hold you back from doing this. In many cases, this attorney and or title company will be a sponsor of the local Real Estate Investors Association. So once again, when you go to your local Real Estate Investors Association clubs and you ask for their vendors list, this attorney will most likely be on that vendors list. That will be your guy. One thing that I request you do is make sure you make it clear that your attorney gets paid on the HUDs or at closing. Now, most attorneys that do wholesale deals are completely used to getting paid on the HUD. If not, every attorney is different and they can make their own decisions, of course. If not, weigh that out. Alright, a bookkeeper and accountant. Don't waste your time doing this kind of stuff. Your business is being the orchestrator and creator of this 10-hour wholesaler system. Don't be bogged down with the stuff that is not going to make you money. If you believe in yourself right now, then you know you will be able to afford to pay one of these guys quarterly. Just do it. There are moving parts to this model, so when it comes to 1099s and such, it's just a great idea to have a bookkeeper on your side. Let somebody else manage this end of the business so that you can focus on making the money. A bookkeeper in this type of business model needs to have a good reputation, and they should have worked currently works with other real estate investors. And, a good idea when working with an accountant is somebody that has a reputation for fighting for their clients, and they obviously are great at write-offs. Alright, your local scouts. They can consist of contractors, friends and or acquaintances, and top of the list, aspiring wholesalers. Now, contractors. You can do this by search on Craigslist for a handyman looking for work. Let them know that you're an investor and will be doing more work in the area. And let them know that you'll be sending them more work, but for now, you would like them to view properties and get information for you on properties of interest since you are out of state. Now, you'll only need to do this if your fellow coal wholesaler cannot go out and, let's say, take a picture of a property for you that your buyer wants, or let one of your buyers in the door, or to put a lockbox on a property for one of your buyers, or open the lockbox for one of your buyers. In most cases, your selling coal wholesaler will be able to do these for you. But a little smart ninja trick is to build an alliance with a contractor or somebody else, one of the other two that we're about to go over, that will actually do these types of things for you. Pictures, open doors, give you estimates, that kind of stuff. Now, when it comes to handyman that we build alliances with, we pay them between 30 and 50 bucks depending on how many picks or the task that we ask them to do. Handyman love this stuff because they're local and they're doing work in the neighborhood already. And if all I need to do is meet somebody at a certain property, let's say at 1 o'clock, just to open a door for them to make $30 on their way somewhere else, they're extremely happy. A lot of times that we'll use Angie's List and we'll check up on these people just to get a good background check. When you get somebody good, compensate them well. Friends and acquaintances, use them if you have them in that market, if you ever need to. Your friends can do things for you if this is ever needed. They can do things for you like deliver a contract, view a property for its condition, take pictures, and open doors. So sometimes your co-wholesaler cannot, for one reason or the other, do one of these tasks for you. In that case, if you're in a market where you have a friend or acquaintance, simply ask them to do this for you. Either pick up a contract, view a property to tell for its condition, take some pictures, or open a door. But the best person to do this is aspiring wholesalers. They are your best source as a scout. Create an alliance with these guys, and then you educate and mentor them. Even if you've never done a deal yet, you have this program and you have our support. So you have more than they do. Build these relationships and put them to work for you ASAP. They can do the same tasks just listed previously. But when working with aspiring wholesalers, very important, just make sure that you have them sign a non-circumvention agreement. Use Google to find some free templates. For every time an aspiring wholesaler does this, cut them in on a small cut once the deal has been closed. Other than co-wholesalers, which is the selling wholesaler, this is your ideal team member to deliver contracts, view a property of its condition, take the pictures, and open doors. Scaling. Now that is what this system is all about. Once you've identified, built, and outsourced, all you do is rinse and repeat. That's what these three pillars are. You just learned them all. You learned how to identify your target market. When you want to move on, you just identify your next target market. You learned how to build your pipeline. You learned how to reach out to cash buyers in that market. And you learned how to reach out to wholesalers in that market. Then you learned how to outsource the heavy lifting. Just rinse and repeat. Don't overcomplicate. Just follow these steps and you will be able to make it happen. So, take action, and here is your action list. Get good legal advice. Identify your first 10-hour wholesaler target market. Start building your pipeline immediately. What strategies are you going to implement to find cash buyers and wholesalers? Pick them. But I will tell you this, for every market you go into, when it comes to the cash buyers, your number one strategy is to send out that cash buyer letter template. When it comes to wholesalers, your number one strategy that you can do immediately is just search for wholesalers using the Google search terms that we spoke about. Then reach out to the RIA and get the vendors list. You want to get 5 or more active wholesalers in each market from day one. You also want to get 5 or more serious cash buyers in each market. 5 and 5 in each market will get you doing deals, guaranteed. Times this, times however many markets you want to go into, you're going to find yourself doing a heck of a lot of deals. Start building your outsourced team. Play matchmaker, get paid, and have fun. And don't forget, let us know how we can help throughout any time in this process. And I want to leave off this module with a great quote. It's by Ralph Waldo Emerson. And it goes like this: As to methods, there may be a million, and then some, but principles are few. The man who grasps principles can successfully select his own methods. The man who tries methods, ignoring the principles, is sure to have trouble. That really sums up the 10-hour wholesaler way. The principles are left here for you. The wording and how you talk and build these relationships are going to be the methods. The methods, there can be a million, but we laid out the principles. So make sure you just stick core to these 3 pillars. Congratulations, guys, and make it happen. I look forward to seeing you at the top.